baby's plight. Shadows fall, dimming the light. Whispers grow, a rising tide. Vindicator, where do you hide? Steel is over, heart ablaze. Through smoky haze, he sets his gaze. Justice calls a burning need. A city's wounds he vows to heed. From cobbled streets to tower high, Vindicator takes to the sky. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Seek high! Seek high! Seek high! Whispers turn to thunderous roar.
Right, time to launch you into orbit. Wait!
Slams the door on
There he
tyranny's
goes.
cruel, grasping hand. He fights for freedom, takes a stand with courage born of darkest night. He ignites hope, a guiding light. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Though battles rage and darkness reigns, hope's ember burns within his veins. He'll never yield, he'll never fall. He answers freedom's clarion call. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chains, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. A symbol etched against the moon. Vindicator rising soon.
Hello, everybody. Hello, chat. How you all doing? First off, just want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes yesterday. It was amazing. Thank you for that. Really, already, thank you. Brilliant. Right, so as you can tell from the title and from my morning walk video this morning, we have things to discuss. We really do. But I'm not going to start it off. I'm not the one to be kicking all this off. We're going to start with my really good friend, Tom Fury of 00 News. He's an amazing guy. He's done a lot for this movement. And if anybody should be a prominent figure within this movement, it should be Tom Fury, because he comes with wisdom. He comes with morals, integrity, honor, everything we could need in a leadership role. Tom has it, and he has it in bucket loads. And to be honest with you, the people that have taken up the mantle of spokespeople for this movement, he puts them all to shame. He really does. He deserves more subscribers than he's got. He's currently on 625 subscribers, which is an absolute disgrace. He deserves more subscribers than that. He really does. He was involved in the documentary that Tom Robinson did. He was involved in, he was the cameraman for the Grape of Britain. I think we all know by that. So Tom's an amazing person. He was there on the front line, exposing, along with Tom Robinson, exposing all that scum within our society. So, right. I'm just going to let Tom take it away. I really am. So, don't forget to go like, share, and subscribe. I will drop the link to his channel in the chat after we've watched this. See if we're sharing, because sometimes StreamYard's a bit dodgy. There we go. Yeah, we're sharing. I'm going to do this as well. Right, let's do this. We'll go to full screen on this because we want Tom. center stage on this one. I'm just gonna play the first 11 minutes of this. We'll get to where he's speaking. I'll not put his intro in. Where are you, Don? There we go.
Oh, right. Hello, guys. How you doing? I'm Tom Fury. How you doing? I'm Tom Fury. This is your news. I'm trying to put on the happy face. Truth of it is, hi, Steve. Hi, Missy Moon. Good to see you. Truth of it is, another morning, another race argument. So, I had a lot to think about yesterday, and I've had a lot to think about since. And there's just a couple of things I want to say. I wasn't going to do a live stream there at all. What I'm going to do this live stream, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a break, whether it be just today or for a couple of days. I'm not sure. I want to get some thoughts in order and also let some things unwind and see what's going to happen on the big stages. I think it's up to people to make their moves now. But what I will say is this. I said to you yesterday that certain people come out and they talked about the left and the center and the center left and the far right, and there was no right wing involved. And that is with conservative values, right wing values. And I tried to play it off as a mistake, a simple mistake. But the more I think about it, the more I realize it can't be, because it would take stupidity or ignorance that people that are making these videos just simply don't have. So let me just start by saying this before I go any further. Racist, genuine race. I'm sick of this fucking word already. We dealt with this word so many times. I'm sick of it. I really am sick of it. I'm sick of having to defend us. I'm sick of white people or British people having to defend their fucking non-racist stance. We're sick of saying we're not racist. Sick of saying it. I'm tired of saying it. I've told people before, and we've all told people, if you want to create a far right, put people in a corner and keep calling them racist. See what happens. Like, stop. That's the quickest way to create them. Like, call a bunch of non-racist racists until it sticks. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, because when the far right do come out, they'll come out fighting and they'll come out to win. So don't create them. As we stand right now, racists are not welcome in this movement. You can call yourself FNAT, you can call yourself CivNat, you can call yourself what you want. But the moment you cross that line to racism, you're chased out the movement. Ask any demo, ask anybody what they've seen, they'll tell you the same thing. There's a reason why people like the BNP and others hate us. Hate anybody that identifies with civic nationalism. There's a reason why they hate some of the FNATs that have not subscribed to their ideals. They hate us because they want all white country. They hate us. So we're so far divided from them that they would never make it into our movements. So let's just cover the racism aspect there. And I think that's all we need to cover on it, because I really feel like this is a subject we've covered, we've dealt with, it's over. And people want to bring the issue back up now. Oh, just as we're talking about deporting people, isn't that interesting timing? Isn't that interesting timing? So I would suggest this. We have been betrayed, not by everybody, but we have been betrayed, because by lies of omission and by lies, we've been told that we're in a right-wing movement heading for right-wing directions run by right-wing people. We were told the same thing with the right-wing governments that weren't right-wing. So we've had left-wing governments that pretended to be right-wing, and we've had left-centre people in the movement pretending to be right-wing. We've been misled the whole way by certain people, not all. And that is betrayal. That is total betrayal of what we stand for. And now here's the thing I want to ask you. If there's a real serious problem with racism in this country, why would you need to present your argument as such? There's a left, there's a center, and there's a far right, and exclude all of the conservatives of this country. If your argument is solid, why would you ignore 50% of the people in the country in order to make your argument? You wouldn't. You want your argument to be as on clean ground as you can so that it stands up to scrutiny. What it is when you talk like that is it's politics. It's playing politics. So I'm not buying this, this person here and this person's here not too well at the moment. Perfectly fine to make statements that are deliberately designed to appeal to certain types, that are particularly designed to divide. We've been called dividers for the longest time now. And I've had to take that. Knowing the opposite was true. Well, I tell you now, if you want to stop division in this movement, instead of, like I say, racists won't get far in this movement. They'll be ostracized. So I look at them as being taken care of. Anybody in this movement that is on the center or center left that wants that road of Nigel and reform and all the rest of it should pack the bags and cough, or they should at least tell people the truth about who they are and what they stand for, so people can decide whether they agree or disagree with them. But we are a right-wing movement. And if you're here for centrist politics, create your own fucking movement. Oh, that's right. People won't follow you because centre politics is almost dead at the moment. So you've attached yourself to a right-wing movement in which we go nowhere because we just tread water and we go nowhere while the country keeps going down and down and down and down. It's a recipe for disaster, guys. It's a recipe for absolute fucking annihilation. That's what I said to you yesterday. Got to be very, very careful about this. Oh, there's no ethnic group called English. Because again, I'm all right with that until you think of the consequences. If you say that, then you just basically given the rest of the world a reason to wipe you out and say, well, there's no such ethnicity as English. You've just signed your own death warrant. Again, why would people want us to sign that? I'm very, very suspect now. And again, of who, I don't know, but I'm very suspect now that people are trying to force us down an alley. And they're not just the Starmers. They're not just the Green parties of this world. There are others on the so-called centre that are trying to push us down a path of multiculturalism, of appeasement. We've tried that. It doesn't work. We are a civilized culture and we try and deal with things in a certain way with good intentions and all this bollocks. We need to realize that good intentions and tolerance are overrated because they got us in this situation in the first place. What good is good intentions without discernment? It's no good whatsoever. It's a dreamy, lefty, utopian paradise that just doesn't work out. So if it were me, I'd get every single fucking centrist and left centrist. We've had plenty of them come out. And there's the centrists that are running the top of this movement, or some, again, were and are in some of the top places in this movement. Like I say, there's plenty of right-wing people, thankfully. I've talked to them in great detail. But the centrists, I'd order them the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You're the cancer here. You're the divisionists here. You're the ones that couldn't work out. Why does our politics seem to keep hitting an impasse? Why is it when we seem to be going down a road of getting somewhere, we keep hitting this bump in the road? Everybody would say right-wing politics, it's determined to destroy itself. No, the answer is it's because we've been fucking infiltrated by the center. We've been so worried about the left. We've been so worried about the far right. We've totally underestimated what the center is capable of. Everybody thinks center equals sensible, equals non-aggressive politics, equals they wouldn't try and manipulate anybody because they're the center of politics. What bollocks? Politics is politics. Politics is politics. We've been infiltrated. And again, this isn't even about naming anybody, shaming anybody. I don't care about any of that. I truly don't. What's done is done. What I care about is moving forward. I keep saying it. We're running out of time.
So I totally agree with Tom. We don't need to keep coming out and saying that we're not racist. It's the default position of this movement. We're not racist. I don't know any racists within this movement. I don't. I've never met any. Everybody seems to be welcome. The common consensus among us all is that if you come to this country, you integrate, you respect our traditions, you respect our values, you will be tolerated, and you'll have no issues from us. Live and let live. Yeah. I think that's the general consensus of everybody. I don't need to keep coming out every single time that trolls and nut jobs say controversial things on the internet. That's nothing to do with me. I'm not affiliated with them. I know what I stand for. And I think everybody in this live stream knows what I stand for. I know what you guys stand for as well. We don't need to keep coming out and explaining ourselves all the time or refuting this. And we're going to get into something in a minute because Don Keith is firmly in my crosshairs at the minute. He really is. But I'm going to look at some of the chat before I go into do something else. Steve's issuing a warning to anyone new in the chat. If you can discuss, but don't badmouth anyone or you're gone. Either Vindicator or myself will take you out. That's very, very true, right? Keep it civil. Keep it on topic. Yeah. I back Steve 100%. What he decides goes. If he bans people, he bans people. Right. Having said that, let's cover this, right? That's not infringing your free speech. You're quite welcome to go off and make your own little YouTube channel, make a video complaining about how you've been treated. Yeah. Your free speech hasn't been affected by me banning you from the channel. I just refuse to give you a voice on my platform. Okay? It's not free speech. Right. Let's get into things. This could be a long one, guys. So get a cup of tea, get ready, and batten down the hatches. This could be explosive, to say the least, because I'm tired of this. Like Tom said in his segment there, I'm tired of these centrists trying to hold us hostage with a moral compass that they themselves don't have. Let's get into this. So if you don't already know, right, Rupert Low over the past 3 weeks has had 3 credible threats in the last 3 weeks. We must protect this man at all costs. Restore Britain are the only party that will deport millions and save our country. This is a consequence of what these people have been doing. The people that have been promoting this guilt by association that Restore Britain is somehow a fan of the Austrian painter or a member of the club of the Austrian painter, if you know what I mean. Can't really say the word in this live stream because of YouTube censorship. They use ethno-nationalists, but they really mean followers of the Austrian painter, if everybody knows what I mean in the chat. And they use this guilt by association. In fact, you know what? Let's get it up again. Let's show people exactly what guilt by association. Actually, we'll stop sharing now. We'll show everybody what a guilt by association is. So everybody knows that it's a logical fallacy, right? Because if you're going to fight these people, you've got to know what they use. And when I read it, you'll see that this is exactly what's been happening to Rupert Low and Restore Britain over the last few weeks. Guilt by association. They have been, yeah. They've been running a smear campaign on Rupert. It's pathetic, yeah. And we can all see it. It's blatantly obvious. We can all see what's been happening. We all know Rupert's stance on deportations, immigration. There's nothing racist about it whatsoever. And let me make this clear, right? The same people that are gravitating around Restore Britain were gravitating around UKIP and Advance UK before Restore came onto the scene as a political party. And they were the same people that were hurling abuse at Mohammed Zahir Yusuf in Reform. And yet, nobody came out demanding that UKIP and Advance disavow these people. Why? Because everybody had a brain and knew that that would be guilt by association. Those parties are not responsible for the people who support them. They have no control over those people. Those people are individuals and have agency over their own actions. You cannot blame parties for what people who follow them say. They're individuals. And so long as those parties have clear, distinctive lines and state, we're not racist, which is what Rupert Low has stated on several occasions, his deportation policy isn't racist. His immigration policy isn't racist. He hasn't said anything racist whatsoever. Nothing at all. And yet, these people are now demanding that Rupert Low comes out and disavows the people who follow him and call them out for being ethno-nationalists or whatever. Why does he have to do that when that wasn't demanded of Advance UK and UKIP at the time, when these people were similarly gravitating around those parties? Yeah, it's double standards. It's quite obviously a smear tactic that these two parties are using, UKIP and Advance UK. It's time to get the memo, guys. You don't have the momentum. Your parties are dead. They're dead in the water. Doesn't matter how much you flap your gums, you're irrelevant. Rupert Low has surpassed you in momentum and everything like that. He's left you far behind. You had your chance. You had your chance and you failed. You were unable to do what he's done. With all the time you've had of being registered political parties, you've not had the momentum that he's had. And that's what you're jealous of. And that's why you're trying to bring him down with this rhetoric. It's disgusting, it's scummy, and it's dishonorable. You failed. That's the blunt, honest truth of it. You failed. Accept it, disband, dissolve. Right, let's get on to this. Let's get the guilt by association up. Right, so guilt by association, as you can see. The guilt by association fallacy occurs when someone discredits an argument or individual by likening them to a negative or discredited group or person. In this case, that would be the extreme elements of ethno-nationalism. And let's stop calling it ethno-nationalism, right? Because there is only one label we should all be using, and that's nationalism. There are no civnats, there are no ethno-nationalists, there is just nationalism. And nationalism is on a scale like everything else. Yeah? You can have your extreme nationalism, you can have your moderate nationalism. The ethno-nationalism, it's like a smear. It's a smear. It's a smear term. It's like Islamophobia and everything else. It's a smear term to smear people, because the minute you say ethno-nationalism, people automatically, because they've been programmed, because they've been conditioned, they automatically think of the Austrian painter and his followers. That's what they do. And that's why they use this term. That's why they don't use the term nationalist. All right? Personally, I don't use any labels. I'm a patriotic English man that's proud of his country, that wants to protect his culture and traditions. And I don't want my ethnic identity erased. Now, if people think that is racist, they can go F themselves. Yeah? Because I don't care. As Rupert says, I don't care. I really don't care. You can call me racist. That word has been rendered meaningless, along with Nazi, fascist, and all the other buzzwords. They've been made irrelevant and pointless and meaningless by idiots that have been overusing them for decades. We've had it before. Go ahead, call it me. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered by it. So here it is. Guilt by, we've covered this. Definition. The guilt by association fallacy is a logical fallacy that asserts that if a person is associated with a group or individual that is viewed negatively, then that person must also share the same negative qualities or beliefs. This is what we've been seeing for the last 3 weeks. What have we seen happen with Restore Britain and Rupert Low? Because a certain group of people who might be on the extreme end of nationalism, because they've been following Rupert Low, which is out of Rupert Low's control, by the way, then somehow Restore Britain is somehow the same as that group. It's guilt by association. It's a logical fallacy. So when you see it being used out there now, you can point to them and say, logical fallacy, guilt by association. And when you say that, the argument stops. It shuts it down straight away. Really does. Let's look at some of the chat. Remember, knowledge is firepower. If you're armed with knowledge, if you know about the logical fallacies, you can shut these people down instantly. It needs to be done. And as Tom 00 News was saying, these people need to be purged from our movement. All the centrists need to be kicked out. And like you said, if they want to push their centrist politics, go and form your own movement, because we've had enough of it. Centrist politics has led us to where we are now today. Second-class citizens in our own country, on the verge of having our own ethnic identity erased. That's where centrist politics has gotten us. That's what it's done to us. Look at the chat. Hey Andy, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Tenconi is one of those people who like to go on their little marches, but marches don't achieve anything. It's just a form of virtue signaling. Low isn't like that. He just gets stuff done. Yeah. And the thing is, the numbers have been dwindling on the marches. There's more YouTube streamers at Nick Tenconi's marches now than there is actually protesters. And that's just a fact. See if there's any... I'm sorry guys, I'm just checking the chat so I can, big difference between guilt by association and standing on the same platform someone previously said they would never stand on. Yes, we've talked about this, haven't we, Kenny? We've talked about this. We know who we're talking about. He's been very vocal lately, Mr. Breakdown Man. Yeah. Sorry, mate. See you later. Hope you watch the live stream later. See you later, buddy. Right, now, where do you stand on Britain First? I don't know. I don't know where I stand on Britain First. I don't have an opinion on Britain First. Tenconi's a hyped-up street preacher without a seat. He's pointless. Yeah, he's never going to get the momentum that he wants. And I think that's what's frustrating him. And I think that's why he's jumped on the bandwagon of trying to smear Restore Britain, because he needs to remove them in order to become relevant again. And he isn't. He'll never become relevant again. The party was dead in the water. How long's UKIP been going? And it hasn't managed to get the momentum it needs to push forward. And it never will. Former advanced member here, I just want to ask Vindicator, you said that anyone who disagrees with Rupert should start their own movement. Isn't that? No, I didn't say that at all. That's misrepresenting what I've said. What I've said is not people who've disagreed with Rupert Low. I've said centrists who've attached themselves to this right-wing movement should start their own movement. Yeah, that's what they should do. It's not divisionary at all. They don't share the same politics as us. Yeah, they don't share the same politics. And whilst they're within this movement, they are the divisionary ones. They're the ones sowing division. Look at what they're doing now. Dishonestly, they're trying to smear a man and say that he's somehow involved with the Austrian painters and his followers. to smear him because they know they will never get the same traction that he's got. So if they think that way, if they don't like the way this movement is going, they just need to leave. Go and form your own movement. And see if people follow you and see which way they go. If they stay here and they don't follow you, that says everything about your stance and what people want, doesn't it? And look at what's happening. Everybody is rallying behind Rupert Low. They're abandoning the centrist parties. That's what they're doing. They're abandoning the centrist parties, and the centrist parties don't like it. That's why they're doing their best to throw a spanner in the works with Restore Britain and trying to smear Rupert Low. That's what they're doing. We can all see it. That's what they're doing. There can't be multiple little parties that everybody gets behind. We've had enough of that. Like I keep saying, splitting the vote. Yeah? They need to fold and get behind Rupert Low, or just become insignificant, irrelevant, because he's going to push past them and just grow beyond them to a point where it won't matter what they say. It won't matter because they won't be able to split the vote anymore because they simply won't have anybody following them. They will just be a crisp packet floating on a pond. That's all they'll be. An empty crisp packet floating on a pond. They're using tactics out of the lifted playbook. I'm personally shocked at who are revealing themselves. Yeah, I'm going to cover with some of these people in a bit, Andy, because I'm just as shocked as you. It's like we've been deceived. These, we were all worried about the left and the Marxists infiltrating our institutions and all that kind of stuff. And like Tom said in his video, we've been infiltrated by a insurgent, a subversive movement of centrists that want to throw a spanner in the works. And like Tom says, every time we start gaining momentum and making progress, we hit a road bump in the road for some reason. And if we look at where that road bump started, it's with the centrists. That's where it starts. I will say protests were good in the beginning because they help people network. They help people find each other. But a protest, a big protest, is only as good as the coverage that it gets. And the mainstream media isn't covering it. They're not covering it. And, a protest is only really good if you're going to protest when the people are actually in Parliament. If you do it at a weekend when there's nobody at home, what's the point? You're protesting in an empty building. Basically, it's just a big street party that'll have no effect. And what exactly did they capitalize on with that protest the last time? They built up massive shockwaves within the political system. They could have rode those shockwaves and gone for real change. Instead, they just let it dissipate. It dissipated without any actual action. It didn't achieve anything. We're still in the same position, aren't we? The Starmer's still sat in office, doing his stuff, going scorched earth on this country. Didn't do anything. Big street party. Right, let's look at... we've got to start covering the people that are involved in this now. So, yeah, we'll start looking at some people with some big platforms that are pushing this narrative that Rupert Low should be coming out and condemning these people. Why? I don't know. Because it was never asked of Advanced UK or UKIP when these people were gravitating towards their parties, especially when they were throwing their racism towards Mohammed Zahir Yusuf of Reform. Now, I don't have to like a person, but I also don't like racism. Yeah? You're crossing a line. When you use racism in place of an actual argument, you are crossing a line. And that is something we don't want in the movement. I have to make that perfectly clear. I shouldn't have to, because people should know my stance on things. I shouldn't have to wear a badge or a t-shirt constantly saying I'm against racism, because for this country and for everyone in this country, the majority of people, it's the default position anyway. We are not racist. There's a reason why people want to come to this country and migrate here in the first place. It's because of our tolerance. But unfortunately, that tolerance has been used against us. We've been too tolerant. A line should have been drawn in the sand and said, we're a tolerant people, but don't take our kindness for weakness. That's a message that should have been sent a long time ago. To a point now where our tolerance just keeps moving up and moving up and moving up, and people have taken the piss with our tolerance. There should be a line and a limit to our tolerance. Let's say to a point where you're becoming a minority in your own towns and cities, it's pretty much a given that tolerance has gone too far, hasn't it? And you're giving special conditions to people that basically hate you in your own country, but they've decided to move here and emigrate here. They hate you in your own country. They degrade you for your traditions and your culture. They hate it. What the hell are they doing here? Why have we allowed them to stay? These are all questions we need to ask. And the questions you need to ask the centrists, because they're the ones responsible for it. They're the ones responsible for it. Because instead of taking them to task and drawing a line in that tolerance, they just kept appeasing them. That's why centrist politics is dead. Like Tom was saying. It's led us to this point in history. We can't appease these people. Now is the time to show strength. Right, I'm going to share this. Right, so this is a person called X-Ren, and she says this. She's got military veteran, Sunderland lass in Devon, Advanced UK. She supports Advanced UK. Kind of, do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? The people that are pushing this narrative, they're all involved with Advance, the centrist party. And this is what she says. I mean, she's got what? She's got a quite big platform on Twitter. She's got 32,000 followers on X. So there you go. And she says this. Can you all see it? I'll just enlarge that a little bit. There we go. Right. Spot on, Don. She's using the ethnic slur there. I won't repeat it, but you all know what that slur is. Deport the non-white garbage. Deport non-white garbage. Calling Ben Habib a traitor in disguise is vile and is not true patriotism. Who are you to decide what patriotism is? What authority do you have? It's coming straight from some in Restore Britain circles and their supporters. Where's your evidence for that? You're stating that without evidence. I expect a list of names and people have actually said it, but you don't do that because it's like we discussed earlier, guilt by association. This is what these people do. Because this person is a prominent voice within the movement, people just assume that she's talking the truth. And that's how they get you. That's how the misinformation is spread. They're taking advantage and abusing the trust of their audience. That's what they're doing. It's coming straight from the Restore Britain circles and their supporters, the same side that's meant to be fighting for our country. I even got accused of being a liar by a Restore Advocate account just for pointing out that folk on their side were saying this crap about Ben. No, he was most likely calling you out because you weren't providing any evidence for what you were saying and calling you a liar because you didn't provide any evidence for what you were saying. We're supposed to be standing up against this traitorous, weak government, not taking aim at a guy who wants the exact same political stance, sovereignty, pride, and putting Britain first. Right, okay. So why the hell, if that's your stance, and why aren't you calling out Ben Habib for this then? Why has Ben Habib for the past 3 weeks done nothing but aim his crosshairs at Restore Britain? If that's your stance, if you think we should be fighting the left wing, which I agree with, by the way, why aren't you putting these points to Ben Habib as well? Why aren't you saying, Ben, you need to stop now, mate, that they're on our side? Why are you attacking them with this nonsense? But because you're biased, you're not going to do that because you're propagating this bias as well. You're not going to question them, are you? Ben's true patriot standing tall for what? Well, okay, let's draw that into question. Like, we've got revelations about that. This was made 16 hours ago, by the way, right? So let's take a look. I made a video about this, about how Ben kicked up a fuss about updates regarding the grooming gang inquiry that Rupert Low was doing, to such an extent that Rupert Low said to Ben Habib, Ben, would you like your donation back? So for him to do that, Ben Habib must have kicked up a real fuss or demanded something. maybe a spot on the grooming gang inquiry. Didn't get it, kicked off, and then Rupert Low gave him back his £5,000 donation. So no, he's not an honourable man. And that's just provable. He's not honourable. Honourable men don't take back donations for a grooming gang inquiry. You claim he wants to protect Britain. Well, why did he take his donation back? Kind of says he's not, doesn't it? Kind of says that he's not the person he betrays himself to be in the public eye, doesn't it? So no, he's not a true patriot at all. Anyone spewing, excusing, or gaslighting over this hate should hang their heads in shame, full stop. No excuses. Unite against the real enemy. Stand with Ben. Well, you can be discounted anyway because you're biased and you're just pushing the guilt by association narrative. So let's take a look at this guy, Don Keith. He's an American, by the way. Don Keith is an American. Now, I just want to say, right, this on screen right now is actually playing. I'm actually still sharing it. Yeah, right. So I'm just looking through the chat. Let's have a look. It does. They're all the same. It's just a coordinated hit smear job. Yeah. Absolutely coordinated with everybody. Checking the chat. Right. Okay. Right. So I want to say from the outset, right, all the messages on here, obviously, I disavow and disagree with. I don't agree with racism. If you're racist, if you're judging people based on their skin color, then I don't align with you whatsoever. Yeah. Again, it's the default position of more or less everybody in the country. We shouldn't have to keep coming out and defending ourselves and say we're not racist just because a few trolls on the internet have found and jumped on a bandwagon where they can get a bit of attention. How many of these people are actually real? How many of them are trolls? How many of them are bots? Guaranteed there might be a few racists in there, but that's the internet. You know, these people will find something to insert themselves into and inflame. Now, to draw the conclusion that all these people are reform supporters is ridiculous. Where's your evidence for that? If you're going to present this as evidence of that this is Rupert, even if they were Restore Britain supporters, that's still not on Rupert Low. He can't control what these people say, can he? I doubt they are. You know, and even if they do have, if they're going to come out and say, I'm a Restore Britain member, now I'm going to say something racist, that even that within itself sounds suspicious to me. That sounds like fabricated, designed to smear Rupert Low. I think these people don't understand how the internet works. Wherever there's controversy, where there's a bit of drama, these people are going to propagate and they're going to insert themselves into it and inflame it. That's just the internet. Just to get a reaction, just to get a bit of fame from this. So I think this is just people not understanding the internet as well. Don Keith is linked to a very powerful people. Could be him botting. Right, okay. Sarah White of Advance was on the Dan Mutton and put, yeah, I saw that. I covered that. I covered it in the live stream yesterday, I think. Live. Has never heard so much dumb thinking sycophant who had nothing to say about Restore policies, but everything about Low personally. Yeah, and this is what I've said, right? I have got nothing against Rupert Low being criticised. But if you're going to criticise him, focus it on what he's saying, his policies, and his actions, not on what people out of his control are saying. Because again, it's guilt by association. It's a logical fallacy. Those comments seem to be from state agents to me. Seen this before with how they operate, divide and conquer. Yeah. It's Dick in Man who wrote all of them. He's got the motive, always throwing around the yeah. Who knows? Who knows who it could be? But with the responses, good point. And the thing is, they're doing the guilt by association thing as well, aren't they? Look, just going to leave this here for all those people who attacked Ben Habib instead of the people who attacked him. Well, guess what, Don? Right? Over the last few weeks, Ben Habib has come out and basically called Rupert Low an ethno-nationalist. Some of the people high up within Advanced UK have come out and called all Restore Britain people ethno-nationalists, all 110,000 of them. So maybe there's a few people in there that have just thought, you know what, if they're going to call me racist, then I'm going to be racist. I don't agree with them for it, but it could be that. And as Tom was saying before at the beginning of the live stream, if you were going to put people in a corner, people that aren't racist, and you start poking them and prodding them and shouting them saying they're racist, that's a good way of creating a far-right movement, because they'll just get sick of it and they'll think, you know what, it'll radicalize them. They think, you know what, if I'm going to keep being called racist, even though I'm not, then, I may as well just be racist, because I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. So let's give a slow clap to all the morons for creating an actual far-right movement. Let's give them a slow clap. And this is interesting as well, right? Because he's getting all offended because people are using the P word, right, in the chat. And yet this was Don Keith himself in 2024. Yeah. Aussie, Australian, British, P, Pakistani. He himself was using it. And he comes, in his defense, he comes and says this, leave it all you want. I'm an American. It's neutral, abbreviation for Pakistani here, because we don't have the post-World War II loaded history with. Yeah, but the thing is, though, Don, when you're talking about a country's politics, you kind of have to respect the rules of the country that you're talking about. Yeah? Trying to worm his way out of that one. Very interesting, very telling, isn't it, for these people? Right, we'll stop that one now. Stop that. And we'll come out of this. I'm going to look at the chat again a bit, because we've got something else to play in a minute. Because a caller... In fact, we'll play this. We'll play this. Stop that. Let's let it all come out, shall we? All the stuff that's been going on. Let's let it all come out. Let's look at the chat a bit. Yes, he is. Let's be real, there's an element of racism in every individual. It's natural. I wouldn't say that. Indeed, Vern, indeed, we've had it from the left for years. They will indeed create the monster they fear. Yeah. A lot of upset people who chucked their hat in with Tommy's demo. Rupert came along and pissed on the chips. Yeah, because it's made that irrelevant. It's made the Unite the Kingdom movement irrelevant, because everybody's rallied behind Rupert Low. And I keep saying this. Rupert is the true leader of the Patriot movement. Rupert is the true right-wing leader as well. That's just a fact. I mean, you've only got to look at what he does, right? What he does in Parliament. I mean, yesterday he was tearing strips off the Defence Minister for wastage of taxpayer money. He's in while these smears are going on, right? He's working hard for the country and actually holding the people account that have put us in this mess. So I've got to ask a question, right? What have all these people done that are now trying to smear Rupert Low? Nothing. They've done absolutely nothing. Whilst Rupert Low is in Parliament holding these people to account. On his own, by the way. On his own. Standing his ground. They've done nothing. Well, the only thing they've actually done is grow their bank accounts, haven't they? Throughout all of this, the bank accounts have definitely grown. They've achieved that. That's for sure. In a time when people are struggling as well, I'll say that as well. Right. What else we've got to cover? Oh yes. Right. Now, unfortunately, I have to go back on something I said. I said I wasn't going to cover these people, but it's a panel show, so I'm not going to address them individually. But the funny thing is that there was a panel show, and a caller rang in. Now, these people have a good authority for an hour had been pushing the guilt by association fallacy constantly. And this guy just came in and just wrecked them in about 5 minutes and made them all look silly. So we'll have a look at this. I'll get through this, and then what I'll do is I will drop the link in the chat, and anybody wants to come in, they can come in and have a chat and discuss what's going on. But I think the consensus is these people need to be kicked out of the movement because they're dividers, they're divisionary, they throw a spanner in the works, they're toxic, and like Tom says, they're an absolute cancer within this movement, and they're killing it. They're killing the movement. They are actively harming this movement. It cannot move forward with these people in it. I firmly believe that now. I think you're going to like this next one. It brought a smile to my face. Oh, sorry, I was going to play this guy first, wasn't I? I'll play this guy. This guy first. Keep forgetting.
I spoke to Ben Habib back in February of last year, and I explained to him that the reasons why I was leaving Reform was because I wanted to defend and promote the English people, along with the Protestant and Reformed faith and the English common law and the father-headed family. And Ben agreed with me. I've never made my concerns for the English people themselves and their demographic replacement as being anything that I'd have hidden. And I thought Ben was on board with that. And that's why I was quite happy to have a Pakistani as the leader of Advance, because I thought that Ben cared for the English people and was concerned about our demographic replacement for exactly the same reasons as I was. Being described now as racists or neo-Nazis or whatever it is, simply because I have now moved to Restore and left Advance by Ben Habib, suggests to me that Ben was disingenuous from the very start. And that concerns me greatly. Because Ben Habib was disingenuous. That means that ultimately Ben has an ulterior motive. And I have to say that I am sick and tired of people using deceit as a political tool.
You know what I did? I muted my mic. I muted my mic while the video was playing and forgot to I forgot to unmute it. You can tell I'm getting old, can't you? You can tell I'm getting old. You know, just that one extra year, and you know that's it. Everything goes to pot. There's always something. Every live stream, there's something that goes wrong. You know, I keep telling you guys, this live stream is held together by tinfoil, glue, and string. That's all I do it. You know, my microphone is just 2 paper cups on a piece of string. That's what it is. That's what it is. Noob, yeah, I know. I was like thinking, what? Why aren't they responding to me? Oh, yeah, Mike's muted. Oops. Sorry, guys. We're all having technical difficulties. Normal service was restored. Sure, thank you. Yeah. You're just a tad exhausted. Yeah, I've been going at it for the last few days, and my partner's told me to slow down a bit because I've been going at it quite a bit. You don't know the things that have been going on in the background as well in real life. So yeah, it's been mental, but yeah, we're there. We've got it done, right? Yeah, it's like those damn centrists. They muted my mic. That was just me effing up. Right, let's play this.
Further damage in the future when people want to stop being a certain way towards a certain type of people. It would nip things in the bud right now.
But
what the party stands for.
When you were talking about
Ben and
gentlemen,
Rupert are friends.
well, I think Ben soured that relationship because on a number of occasions, Rupert attempted to deal with things behind closed doors, and then Ben kept airing things out publicly via tweets, via videos, and then his voice notes being leaked. That's not a friendly thing to do. If my friend was doing that to me, I wouldn't feel I owed them a public apology when I've been trying to deal with things privately.
Where did you get, can I just ask you, where did you, just one sec, Sarah, where did you get that information that Ben tried to sort things out behind closed doors? That Rupert tried to, where did you get that info from?
From the public domain.
Who's that?
He put it on Twitter himself saying we've offered the handout, we'd prefer to deal with this privately.
I wouldn't
let me talk to him.
necessarily believe what you see
Just
here online.
I'm sorry.
And yet she's willing to believe everything online from a few trolls and is convinced that they're racist from Restore Britain. A few anonymous people online. But here she's telling this gentleman that because he got his information from an anonymous source online, then, you know, he shouldn't do that. But she's perfectly okay to accept that anonymous people on the internet who are saying racist things towards Ben Habib are all Restore Britain members, and she's taking that on faith. What a hypocrite.
Which public domain? Because Rupert Low tweets every single day. He tweets more than 7 times a day. Yeah, don't ask me how I know. What did you get your information from? His tweet? His party?
Right, let me get this straight. So we've not to take Rupert's words seriously, but we've to take all comments from random Twitter accounts seriously, and we must disavow them publicly through Rupert's own words. Like, it's very confusing.
I just want to know your source, because I know my source, who has, obviously, you probably know and watched the video of Ben saying, I've not received anything from Rupert. And Rupert hasn't come out and said, hey, I texted him, I tried to keep it privately. Where did he say that? Where are you getting your information from?
He's posted it himself online.
Where? Hey, my team is watching this. Could you get that, please?
Or his team, either Rupert or his team has said we prefer to deal with it privately.
Okay.
Made him look absolute clowns. Total clowns. Because they're saying, well, where's this actually said? Well, Rupert's own words. Rupert's own words. They're asking, what's your source? The man himself, through his own mouth on Twitter, saying this. They're just clowns. They're just clowns. They're ill-informed clowns. And this is the people who are prominent figures within the movement, that have large platforms, that speak for us, even though none of them are elected. Claim to speak for us. And this is what Tom was talking about. All these people in this panel, they need to be kicked out of the movement, because there's your problem right there. There they are for you all to see, standing right out in the open. These are the centrists that are causing division because they're ill-informed. They're as thick as pig shit. They are thick, all of them. Thick. Because they didn't even bother to do basic research on the things they were actually propagating. They didn't check to see if Rupert had actually come out and said, you know what, let's keep this in private. We shouldn't be airing this in public. That's because they're morons. And they're here to push an agenda. That's what they're trying to do. They want to push their agenda. And that requires no research, because their followers will take everything they say as gospel truth. Because their followers won't do research. They won't fact check these people. They won't do it. And this is what I mean by these people abusing their audience. They've gained the trust of their audience, and now they're feeding them misinformation, purposefully, to push an agenda and to smear Rupert Low and Restore Britain. Mispronounced then. I'm going to pull up on that. Schmeal. That's a new word. I'm going to get a t-shirt with that on now. They're trying to schmeal Rupert Low. Oh, dearie me. So look at some of the chat. How about this? I recall a certain person, TR, travelling all the way to Kent simply because some lad called him racist online. And the thing with Mr. T is not doing the same thing. I wouldn't advise that, because you've got to have the right temperament to do that. I wouldn't advise turning up on anybody's doorstep, because you've got to have the right temperament. And I wouldn't promote that, because there would be people out there that would take it to the extreme, that would go angry, and that would be a really bad idea. I don't think any should do that. The best place to ridicule these people is online, where they are, and call them out for it, like I'm doing right now. You know, you're entering another realm there. If you go and face these people in person, these people will probably say you're harassing them and get you arrested. I don't think it's a very good idea. Very apparent now, Vin. Reel them in, then control the narrative. We must be on the same page, blah. Yeah. Happy Bacon Day, everyone. Every day's a bacon day. A schmeal is not just for Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, that's for another live stream. I'm not talking about that today. Yeah, it will come up that, but yeah, that's part of another live stream. But yeah, that caller owned them all in just 30 seconds. He called them out, guilt by association. Did them all, and they had no response to it. Why am I betting that Paul thought there was going to kick him out? I haven't seen the rest of it, so I can't see the context of that, but people say time to move on now. I heard that Dino Bain, I think somebody said in the chat that Dino Bain actually went and tried to go and debate them, but was blocked from going in. So Paul Thorpe tried to go in my live stream, posted after the fact and said, when am I allowed to come on? Never. You're never allowed to come on, Paul, because you won't afford free people to come on your live stream. You block them. You get your mods to block anybody that's going to criticize you. So I'm going to afford you the same courtesy you give those people. I'm not going to allow you a platform. You've got a bigger platform for me. Why do you need to go on my live stream? Oh yeah, they'll all be watching. They all claim they don't watch, but they watch. They hate watch. Yeah. Right, guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw open the chat. The rules for coming into the live stream are you must show your face. Backstage, you're not live. When you first click on that link, you're not actually live. You're backstage. I have to bring you into the live. So the rule is you show your face, you have your audio ready to go. All right? His mods block, and don't allow right to reply. No, they don't. I've seen it myself. I was on there and I saw them blocking people, so they can't deny it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Right. Only thing I ask is keep it civil, keep it clean. Yeah. There we go. Links in the chat. Anyone who wants to come in, you can do so. I'm only looking for people that haven't been in before, just so you know. Paul thought Connor Thompson, he made them look pathetic. Yeah, because he's more intelligent than they are. Yeah. I think, to be honest with you, I think if Ben hadn't gone public with everything, I think there may have been some sort of agreement brokered between them. But Ben's way of getting his own way is going public to force a decision. And he didn't get the decision he wanted because Rupert just ignored him. And why do you think that is? Why do you think Rupert Low ignored Ben Habib? I think the defining factor in all of this, I think the reason why Rupert Low is ignoring Ben Habib is because Rupert Low thinks that he's a dishonourable man. I think after he took back his donation for the grooming gang, I think he just thought, this is not an honourable man. I want nothing more to do with him. I think that's generally why he's ignoring Ben Habib, and Ben Habib can't accept it. They're not, if you look at the character of Rupert Low, he's a very honourable man. He's a very fair but honourable man. So if you take back your donation to a really great cause, nobody can deny it, the grooming gang inquiry, there you go. Not somebody you really want as a leader, is it? Right, I'll drop the link in the chat again. Drop the link. This is the link to come in the live stream if you want to chat. The rules are you must show your face before you come into the live stream. You will go backstage first before you come into the live stream. You're not live as soon as you click the link. So show your face, have your audio ready. You can cover your face up before you go live. I'm okay with that. I just need to see your face before you come on, that's all. Okay? There must be somebody brave enough to come into the live stream. I had loads the other day. Everybody wanted to come in the live stream and have a chat. And prior to this, even Ben, after got his man back, Rupert was still complimentary about Ben. Yeah, because he was being a statesman. He was being a statesman. He wasn't airing his laundry in public. That was a private thing between him and Ben Habib, wasn't it? It shows you who has the class and who doesn't have the class, doesn't it? Paul Thorpe is a coward who lords it over those who haven't the means to get their family out of the UK. He thinks he will be safe in Spain when Spain is going as we speak. Yeah, it's going the same way. In fact, I think Spain's a little bit further along than we are. You've got to show your face, buddy. You've got to show your face or you can't come into the live stream. Yeah. You're not live. You're not live yet. You're not live until I click you into the live stream. So show your face or I won't allow you in. That's the rules. Okay. That's the thing. I'm not being horrible or anything, but if you don't show your face, I'm not going to allow you to come into the live stream. You show your face first, you go back to being anonymous, then you come in the live stream. They're the rules. I don't make any exceptions. That way, I know if you're a troll or not. If you come into the backstage bit and don't show your face, and after I've repeatedly asked you to show your face, you don't show your face, you just get kicked, because that means you're a troll. Then thank goodness Rupert kept quiet when Ben was banging on about the merge. Yeah, I think he already knew that there wasn't going to be a merger. I mean, he was telling us straight away when he was talking about the merger. He said, "I think we need to keep our we need to make our own furrows. Me need to be separate." And then Rupert did talk about an alliance. He said, "You know what? Closer to the election, that's when we need to talk about alliances." I think he wants to see what would happen with Advance UK before he said anything further. And Ben just proved him right, didn't he? With all the outbursts and I'm taking my hand back. I'm taking back the hand of friendship, like some drama queen. It's like, who even speaks like that? He just, like I've been saying, he sounds like a scorned girlfriend. Agreed. Steve's 5K is nothing to Ben. It showed his soul and his real character. That was the final red flag for me. Up until that point, I thought they could sort things out. But after he did that, after that came to light, it's like, no, he's not an honourable. He's not an honourable man. And if I was Rupert Low, because I kind of have the same principles as Rupert Low, honour, integrity, and morals, then if anybody did that and then wanted to have an alliance with me, I would tell them to go F themselves. But like I said, all these people are outing themselves. They're all outing themselves who they really are. All you have to do is look for the guilt by association fallacy that they're propagating. And if anybody's doing that against Restore Britain, you can guarantee that they're not on our side. They're not on our side. They're really not. I'll drop the link again in the chat. So if anybody wants to come in, you can come in. If you hang around in backstage after I've told you repeatedly to show your face, you will get kicked. I'll give you 2 opportunities and then you're gone. Okay, so be prepared to show your face backstage. You're not live when you first come in, when you click the link. I have to click you into the live stream. So once I've seen your face, you can go back to being anonymous and then I'll reintroduce you to the live stream. Okay? Been and globs that appear to be where the same people chat. Yeah. I think it's just common sense. If somebody over there is shouting racist remarks, and because I'm stood next to them, somebody comes up to me and said, you need to apologize for that guy. You need to apologize for him. It's like, why? Because he's standing next to you. He's associating with you. You need to apologize for him. That's how ridiculous the argument is. That's literally the argument. Holding a person responsible for somebody else's actions that aren't affiliated with them. It's ridiculous. We've all had it up to us next. For the past, who knows how long, we've constantly had device not connected. It says device not connected, buddy. I'll kick you out and come back in again, because that should rectify it. Try and come back in again. I'll drop the link again. The Nick Griffin prediction was only based on the natives just accepting the status quo and not pushing back. All predictions were based on subservience. They were never going to get in power, right? Your National Front, your BNP were never going to get in power, because no matter what anybody says, let's just say they were infiltrated. They were infiltrated by people who were fans of the Austrian painter and his minions. Those people were never going to get into power, because the British public would never accept a party like that. We're just not. But the reason why is because our default position is anti-racist. That's everybody's default position in the country. So those parties were always going to be on the fringe element of politics. That's where they were always going to be. That's just a fact. No, it was because he was infiltrated in the politics that he held. That's why he was on the fringe. You can't blame anybody else but himself for that. This is why they never get elected. You're going to show your face, buddy. You need to show your face. Yeah, you need to show your face, or I'm going to ask one more time. Show your face, buddy. Yeah, if you don't show your face, I will not allow you to come on the live stream. It's a filter for a reason. Because what trolls tend to do, they don't show the face, they come in and then they start playing material that could get the live stream taken down. And that's their intention. So that's why there are these checks and balances in place. Yeah. You're going to show your face, buddy. See, you're saying your name's Jim's Rants. I know that's a channel. I know that's a channel. But if I don't see your face, you could just be an imposter. I'm sorry, mate. It's just a policy. This guy's showing his face. Give me a thumbs up, mate, if you want to be going to the live with your face showing. So I know you're okay. Right, okay, cool. How you doing, mate?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. How are you?
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand things from a neutral perspective. I'm coming into this argument from that angle, and I wondered from your side of the argument, why do you think that things have gotten so visceral and so nasty between two different sides?
I think it's misinformation. I think it's deliberate smearing and misinformation. Because if you look at one side, where's all this been coming from? Where's all the hate and the accusations of racism been coming from? It's only been coming from one side, and that's the people on the side of Advance UK. There's been no response to it from Restore Britain. They've stayed course. They think we're not going to air this in public. This is a distraction. This is going to cause division within the movement. We're not going to do this. So you've got to look where it's coming from. And then you look at the people who are actually doing it, and they're all being very dishonest in the way they're arguing. Very dishonest. And so would you enter into an argument knowing full well that the people that you're going to be arguing with are going to be arguing in bad faith straight away? You're not going to do it, are you?
No, of course not.
No, that's the situation, buddy. That's where we're at.
So thank you for that. That was a really good answer. And if we're looking at a big picture here, in terms of the election in a few years' time, do you think that Restore has got enough time to generate enough of a following and enough of a team to form an effective cabinet?
Well, only time will tell. And nobody can predict what the future is going to be in politics. Anything can happen. You know, it's early days. We're 3 years away from a general election. You know, even 2 weeks up to a general election can be, you can't predict that. You can't predict anything in politics. You know, what we don't know what's going to happen, do we? I mean, tomorrow Starmer's entire government could just collapse tomorrow because something comes out, and then we're having a snap general election straight away, and then all bets are off. We just don't know, do we? Personally, if Rupert Low stays the course, he keeps building his team, keeps building momentum, stays the course, because I'm just going to be as critical as him as I'm of other people as well, because, you know, he's only got my vote so long as he stays the course and does what he says he's going to do. So if he does that, then yes, I believe he will have a chance in 2029.
Yeah, I'd like to think that he's got a chance, because I'm about 10, 12 miles away from Yarmouth. So I know from speaking with people that the things that he says are actually true. And he does have a genuine grassroots following. People really do respect him as a man of action. He really does give salary away every single month. And I think that that's exactly what this country needs right now. I think that people are fed up with not just the migration thing. I think that's just the most obvious thing. I think the entire system needs to be completely reconstituted, and I think we need to look very, very carefully at making sure that English has a protected characteristic under a new. I think that there's an argument for really having two passports as well, perhaps having one that is an ethnic one and one that is a civic one, not necessarily to give any rights, but I think to distinguish.
That's actually a really good idea. That's a really good idea. Maybe have an English passport and have a British citizen passport sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what you would have if you had that system is, of course, the lefties will say, well, that will create a two-tier system. Although obviously we've already got one of those right now. But I think the important thing would be that it doesn't necessarily create separate rights as such. What it could give certain rights though for a fixed period, like for example, probation period while somebody, as they first moved here for say 5 years, 10 years, something like that. Then there could be restricted rights, possibly even having more contributions towards the National Health Service as well. I think that those sort of things are really going to help with social cohesion, and people will then feel that people arriving in this country are actually contributing something valuable instead of just being the piece like now.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I reckon what they should do is, with to be honest with you, I think we need a total ban on all migration, because people always point towards illegal immigration, but they don't look at legal migration, which is the real problem, because we're taking near enough 1 million people a year presently. Every year we're taking 1 million people, and that is shocking. For a small country like us to take that amount of people in every year is just not sustainable, is it? It's not.
No, absolutely not. No. I mean, one thing that I would say is that if you look at the numbers, it was virtually 1 million. You're right. I think last year it was about 244,000, something like that. Now that's still unacceptable, but it does show that there has been some to bring it down. I'm not going to give Labour any credit for it, or the Tories either, but I think there has been some movement toward that. But I think what is the bigger problem for ordinary people, I think, is definitely the illegal situation, and it's mostly because of the money that's spent on it. Because if you took all of the billions that are spent on housing and that are spent on benefits for them, think how many schools could be that, or how many teachers we could employ, or nurses from Britain that we could be training instead. And I think the whole emphasis on internationalism is where we should be looking, really. We should be focusing on nationalism and making ourselves more self-sufficient, rather than being slaves in this sort of globalist, internationalist environment.
Can I just address this comment just for 1 second? I'm sorry about this. Right. Next time, Vince Paranoid, I'm not going to go and buy a web camera just to come into a live stream. And my mobile phone is old school, I don't like the GPS shit. Never mind. No, the thing is, mate, the reason why I have this policy of showing your face before you come into the live is because I've had issues with trolls in the past that want to come in here and disrupt the live stream by playing inappropriate things. So I'm sorry that you weren't allowed in, but I can't make any exceptions. I don't know you. I don't know your character. You could just be a troll saying this, and I don't know, do I? I don't know. So I apologize, but until you can show your face, then you won't be allowed in the live stream. That's just my policy. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Just want to talk to Jim's Rants. Hi, Jim's Rants. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
All right, mate. Yeah, I just thought I'd come in if anyone's got anything to ask me, with all what's been going on and that.
Yeah, you know what? I saw Dino Bain, and this is probably the thing I don't agree with him on. I know he's talking about AI slop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think some of it is AI slop is correct, but in your case, I think he made a mistake. I'll be honest. I'll come out on record and say that he made a mistake with that. Definitely.
Yeah, I think he has as well, mate. A bad one.
Yeah.
You can see if you look on my head. Look, I've had 2 brain ops and it's come back, and I'm knackered, and I've got stage 3, stage 4 COPD as well. Can you hear me all right? Is my microphone okay?
Yeah, you're perfect, mate. Yeah, 100%, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, gone a bit too far, but I'm not going to apologise, because all I said was AI slot. What he said, I just repeated that. I wasn't attacking him.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted you to have your say, and obviously this live stream is not about that, but what's your opinion on the current situation with all these centrists and morons coming out and just dividing up the movement, because I think they are a real danger. They are. They need. What do you think, Dr. J? Do you think they need to be kicked out of the movement, just ostracized, and say, look, like what Tom said, go and make your own movement somewhere else, away from this one.
Yeah.
If you don't like the politics,
I do agree.
go away.
I do agree.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. It's all so confusing for people. I mean, I've backed Rupert Low from day one. I've never been anything else, never went reform, nothing like that. I've just waited because I thought something had happened, and I was hoping it were going to be Rupert and Ben, but obviously that's not come to fruition. But you know,
I've got a camera, I just don't use it, because when I put my camera on the stream, because I'm on a laptop, the stream tends to get destabilized because it's not a PC. So if I put more than one people, just to show, I am here. It's me. I'm not AI.
That's fine. Yeah,
but I'm here.
I see you. We can hear you anyway. I just think, to be honest, there's just so much going on. It's confusing so many people, and I've just stuck with Rupert, and that's it, and that's where I am. Well, that's where I'll always be. I don't think it can't not work, to be honest. I think there's so much behind him, and it's just getting more and more all the time, and all these masks are slipping off all the different people, and I think Rupert will be the victor, and that'll be it. I'm hoping so anyway for all of us.
Look, people are voting with their feet. They're all backing Restore Britain, and to me, it's just all sour grapes. I mean, these parties, like I said in my morning walk video this morning, right? These parties have had years as political parties, and that none of them have had the political clout to do what he's doing right now. Nobody's backed them. Nobody's got behind them. The thing is, right, UKIP, dead party, should have just dissolved instantly when Farage destroyed it. Should have just gone, because it's not doing anything. All the little parties, you've got, was it David Cattain's one? What is it?
The Christian
Heritage Party. Yeah, that's doing nothing. It's dead water. Not doing anything at all. You've got Advance UK, dead. It's been surpassed. Its function is now defunct because Restore Britain's taken its place.
I think what Ty said has killed that.
Oh yeah,
there's a vacuum.
I think a lot of people took that to heart. I did, definitely. I think Ben's a good man, but I think he played his card too early. And
I disagree. I don't
have spoke from the start.
I don't think he is a good man, because a good man wouldn't take back a donation from a grooming gang inquiry. I don't think he is a good man. I think
that doesn't look good, if I admit that.
Yeah, I think his persona is a very public one, and behind closed doors, I think he's a very bitter, egotistical man behind closed doors. I think that's the real Ben Habib.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not racist in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I've got two half-caste grandchildren.
Mate, you shouldn't have to say that. You shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah,
that's my point.
I'm just saying it because people do say sometimes you are, and I'm not. But where the race thing comes into it with Ben Habib, I don't get what people are saying, because of his colour. What's that got to do with anything? I don't see what that's got to do with anything. If he's for Britain and he stands for Britain, but I think his mask has slipped. I really do.
He came out the other day and he just contradicted himself within about 3 seconds of speaking, because he was talking about how you can just feel and you're English. And then the next breath, he was talking about how it was genetically linked and it was heritage, and that the English people became the English over time. I had one guy in the comments yesterday trying to tell me that nationality is fluid. It's like, what are you talking about? It's fluid. It's like, it's not fluid at all. If it's fluid, then no nationalities exist anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
An ethnicity is its ancestry, its culture.
Just give me 1 second, mate. Struggling there.
All three of them. Right. So the ancestry will bring in, parts of your DNA, your genetics, obviously. You've got your culture that's then transferred through institutions from one thing to another. And then on top of that, you've then got the geography, which is obviously where people live over a long period of time, and their customs and traditions are then transferred and people assimilate within that community. So the English, for example, we were the a Celtic race to begin with. We weren't replaced by Anglo-Saxons. What they did is they replaced the institutions, they replaced the language and took over the culture. And this is something that I find very, very worrying at the moment, because where I'm from is in East Anglia. In my town, we've got an Anglo-Saxon burial mound, a Roman well, a Norman castle. We've got Georgian Victorian buildings, medieval buildings. We've got the whole of English history and inheritance in front of us. And that is something that I feel very proud of, and I want my family to inherit after me. And what I don't want is to see somewhere like this turn into what London looks like today, or Manchester, or Birmingham. And is that to do with skin colour? Well, not entirely to do with skin colour, no. As I mentioned, it's to do with ethnicity, which includes ancestry. Somebody like Ben Habib might have a British passport, but he's never going to be an English person because he doesn't have the ancestry. Now, that isn't anything to do with his race.
Yeah.
And this is where I would offer a different term for people to use in the discussion, which is, instead of ethno-nationalist or civic nationalist, I think that if you're looking at a cultural inheritance, a better term would be a communitarian, because what you want is your community to continue, and that doesn't necessarily involve race, although that can be a part of it.
I totally agree with
indeed.
that. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, same.
I
I live
go on,
8
mate.
miles from Leicester. I think this was the first city to ever be majority, non-white majority, should I say?
Mm.
You know, so I've been there, done it, seen it, got the post, got the T-shirt, and all that.
And it's just such a different environment from here, for example, where if I walk into town, I'll be lucky, well, not lucky, but I'd be surprised if I saw any more than 3 or 4 people who were from a different ethnic origin than local.
Whereabouts are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in East Anglia.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you see, me with my hometown, I've lived here all my life, and I've seen it slowly degrade over time. Slowly, I don't recognise the faces. We used to have Chesterfield, everybody knows where I live, Chesterfield in Derbyshire.
I know Chesterfield very well.
It used to have a massive historical market every weekend. It used to be Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday, and over time it's just been completely destroyed because they're taking away our heritage, our culture, and that was part of the town. It was a focal point. It wasn't just a market. It's where people came to socialise and meet and talk, and it's gone. I mean,
it's not just that that's there. It's also like, because we have the markets here as well, and they go back to before the times of the Normans. So that's actually severing a cultural link in your town.
Yeah. What they did recently was, because obviously it's a Labour-run town, obviously, destroy everything. What they did was they did a big refurbishment and sold it as, look, we've refurbished it all. But what they'd actually done was they've removed a good proportion of the stores because nobody was using them anymore. Because it was a Labour government, a local government, they've hiked up the business rates so nobody can afford a stall anymore. Everybody's buggered off and selling the stuff online. And so it's killed off trade in the town centre. And as a result, the shops all around in the town centre have suffered because that brought foot traffic into the town. Now that's died. They upped the prices of car parking. Used to be free car parking. Now it's just killed it off.
And this is exactly why I say that, we all know that we're at a tipping point. I look at areas like here, and I look at other areas in the country that are like it as well. We've got to keep these areas as they are if we want things to improve. And if you look at a map where we've got the concentration of the ethnic minorities, pretty much if you go from London straight upwards, that's roughly where you find most of the concentration. Around there, you find it much less, like in Dorset and Devon, Cornwall, for example, East Anglia, North Wales, you get much less of an ethnic mix there. And you find, unsurprisingly, that you have lower crime rates. You have a high trust environment. Like, for example, if I want to go and get some eggs, I walk down to my neighbours, put some money in a box, I get a box of eggs. You're not going to have a high trust society when you don't have a communitarian identity and you don't all believe in the same values. And this is particularly where we find a problem with Islam, because we have a parallel system of values that is sort of in conflict with ours, and we're never going to be able to resolve that. But getting back to here, what I think we really need to do is to make sure that instead of having all this sort of childish infighting and hurling insults at each other, people should really think about what the big picture is, think about the time limit that there is, and that really focus on the priorities.
I totally agree. Hi, Jason. Do you want to have the conversation, mate?
Hi there, gents. You all right? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, mate. You're coming through loud and clear.
So, I joined Advance originally in the hope of something better. At the time, Rupert was saying that he was strictly dedicated to his movement and wasn't going to get in the party. And I think that's why a lot of people joined Advance. And obviously, everyone's gone a bit quiet about membership numbers now, except for Restore. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was a huge amount of crossover between the two. And I think that's probably got people like Ben and Richard and Paul very concerned, really, because I think they've just jumped on the wrong life raft.
I think from what I've heard, from what I've heard from subscribers that have been advanced UK supporters, that they've tried to leave and it's very, very difficult to leave. They can't like cancel their memberships. It's really hard to do that. So they're trying to cling on to their numbers. That's what they're trying to do.
They cancelled my membership the next day, but they haven't removed me from the mailing list. So I've had an email confirmation saying that I've been removed as a member, but you never really know these things unless you've got access to all of the back data. I've now fully joined up with Restore. What I think would be good from Restore, we do as a nation need to continue the conversation about immigration and our own continuation, really. But I would actually like to start hearing some stuff from Restore about the other aspects of our country that are just completely broken. And I think that would be a really good way to start bringing people who aren't on our side right now into our team, because we need that large tent. If you look at what Donald Trump did in America, love him or hate him, he basically took over the Republican Party, made it a massive tent that everyone can kind of get under, and then, you know, one election aside, he kind of just dominated the other side. That's what we need to do. That's what the Greens have done, you know. And there's so much more wrong in our country other than immigration. 50% of the native population doesn't vote. I personally want to see crime dealt with. I work in retail management, so crime.
Can I just say something? Because interrupt me for a second, right? All this is in his policies, but I agree with you. He needs to start talking about his policies that he's put forward. He's got loads of policies on his Restore website, and I think what he needs to do. I mean, obviously he's building his party at the minute, so I can kind of understand. It's only been 3 weeks since his launch, so he's got a lot on his plate and stuff. But what he should do, maybe in the summer, is have a massive conference and just showcase all his policies and just show everybody what he's going to do, so everybody can see. And then all these dissenters.
I think you'll see a massive change on the voting. I think the people who haven't been voting will come out of the woodwork now. I really do. I think you'll see at least 20-25% of them voting.
I think as well, another thing where you could get people to unite, which is very much where I would agree with Jason, is the left often focus on economics, whereas the right tend not to focus on it so much. And I think that a big thing that could unite both sides there is looking at the uneven distribution of wealth and looking at how it's concentrated and how it should be redistributed down, as it was always meant to be done in a successful capitalist society. It's not meant to sort of, you know, glue at the top in large corporations. And I think if we look at the we pay for the banking crisis, I think everybody has got a sense of injustice against those people, and that's where I think we could perhaps find some common ground.
You know the main thing the main thing that's made me get behind Rupert is because you can actually see him fighting for the country in these committees that he's in. He's not just stood about just like, oh yeah, I'm a like Nigel Farage is. For Nigel Farage, it's just a bit of notoriety. He don't care. He's not bothered.
I agree. And it was great to see him fighting against. I can't think which department they were now, but the one where he said that they should be in prison. You know, he's absolutely right, and he's not the only. That isn't the only department where that sort of thing should be happening. Somebody like Keir Starmer should definitely be in prison for what he has done to this country. So should anybody else who's gone along with his policies, because his duty is to protect the citizens and to protect the interests of the citizens. And time again, he's acting against our interests, like he is at the moment in pissing off Donald Trump. That isn't in any of our interests.
Can I ask you a
his-
question? Can I ask you a
Yes.
question that you can answer this? You can answer this in turn, right? Do you think, and I think you will, do you think there should be an inquiry to the Starmer regime in what they've been doing to the people of this country after all this is over? Do you think the police, the authorities, everybody involved should be held to account, and some of them should face prison time for the fact they've taken people's rights away? In some cases, they've actually killed people. Peter Lynch, there's no way that man should have been in prison whatsoever for the things that he said. Do you think these people should be held to account?
Are you asking me if they should be or if they could be?
If they should be.
If they should be, absolutely. And I think that all of them should be going back to Tony Blair's government, because that's where all of this started. I think that they have deliberately dismantled a successful country. They've deliberately altered the demographics of it. They've completely re-altered the cultural balance of the country. It's done absolutely nothing to improve it and everything to make it worse. And in any other context, somebody that had made that many mistakes and caused that much destruction absolutely would be held accountable. And I think that because it's against the country, then it should be an even higher standard that is set against them. Now, whether or not that will happen, I don't know. But I would say that if Rupert gets in, he's exactly the sort of person that would make sure that those people were held accountable. And I'd like to think that that would happen. But probably it won't, because we've seen it too many times before. I mean, look at Blair pouncing about all over the place. He still runs everything.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want to see happen, right? I want to see Rupert Low get into power, right? I want him to repeal and roll back the thing that Tony Blair did about making treason just a life imprisonment. I want to see the death penalty brought back into this. And it's like, now try them all for treason, because it is treason what they've been doing. All of them been committing treason. I mean, look at the Labour Party. It should have collapsed by now. They've got ties to the Chinese Communist Party. They've got people within the party that have been caught spying. What are we doing? Why isn't it collapsed? Why are we still allowing this government to still be in power? Why isn't the opposition saying, you need to resign? This government is shocking. Yeah. It needs to go. Why aren't they doing that?
Can I jump hot take here?
Yeah, go on.
So I think we're all in agreement. Like, we're all on this call. I don't think we would be here if we weren't. I actually think, with the exception of some very key individuals like Starmer, I actually think the country just actually needs to spend that time fixing the issues and making it a publicly known fact who broke it. If we look at what's happened in America over the last 10 years, you know, Trump was voted in on a promise of draining the swamp. And when you get to the actual tribunals, court cases, whatever it is, all you get is destroyed emails, I don't knows, I don't remembers, nothing that is ever actually going to stand up to too much, with the exception of like the really key players. Like, do we really think that Mandelson will go down? Like, he's a current example of this. It would take a lot of resources, and I don't think the country's time to vote on it. I agree with the sentiment more, but I would rather that.
I tell what Mandelson's going to be. Mandelson's going to be a scapegoat, and then all of a sudden it'll just go quiet. It'll go out the news cycle, and then you'll never hear from Mandelson again. He'll get a golden handshake. He'll be shipped off to some South American country. You'll never hear from him again. That'll be him out of the picture.
Tony Blair's the one that wants to.
Jason made a really good point.
Yeah.
Can I just pick up on what he was saying there? Because I think that he was talking about accountability, and he's absolutely right in what's been happening in America. And I think that the problem we have here is that the system has been set up deliberately so that accountability is obscured. That's why we have these NGOs, these quangos, because ministers aren't actually making decisions anymore. And the problem, although Keir Starmer is an absolute and complete and utter wanker, he isn't the main problem here. The problem is the system that's in place, because whoever's in charge of it is going to have exactly the same setup. And the reason for that is because political cycles only last 4 or 5 years, whereas the system that's behind it lasts forever. So you have to get rid of all of that infrastructure in order to put in place all the changes that we want to see happen. And this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. And I would just,
agree with you.
although I believe in Rupert, I would just say that I would urge caution against putting all of your eggs in one basket. He's got to have a strong enough team, because if he goes, the whole project at the moment collapses, and that's what none of us want.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's why he's remaining. I think that's why he's remaining quiet at the minute. I think in behind the scenes, in the background, he's slowly building his team. He's not going to announce them straight away. He's going to keep it quiet, and then when the time's right, he'll announce them. Regarding the civil service and all that sort of thing, we need to adopt the American system where the incoming regime brings its own civil service in with it, so it knows the people it's bringing in are going to implement its policies and push them forward, rather than have a fifth column within the civil service that is fighting you tooth and nail at every step to stop you from enacting your policies.
I think it should all start at Blair and work its way down. I think Blair needs taken out, and then Starmer, etc. Keep going down the ladder and get them all. They all need
Blair and a lot of the architects of it all.
Look how many people Blair killed with the war.
I think we need to start with the Fabian Society. That needs to be outlawed and banned from any sort of access to government whatsoever as well.
Yeah. I actually know somebody who's part of the Masons, but he says he can't talk about anything at all. So
not Freemasonry.
What the Masons got to hide as well.
Maybe
all
in
this
the
sort of
19th century, but Freemasonry doesn't have that power these days.
What I think needs to happen, if the decision is made by the nation that actually we do need to really start, forgive the phrasing, but like putting heads on spikes for the last 30 years, we need to find the middle managers, and then we need to rake them over the coals, and we say, look, John, you're going to go down for 30 years here. That's probably like the rest of your life, like depending on how old some of these people are. If you give me undeniable proof that your superior has committed X, Y, Z, A, B, C, then we'll give you half the time. And then we say to that superior, you're going to have 40 years, 50 years. If you give me undeniable proof of your superior, then we'll halve your time. And it just keeps going up the ladder until we get to someone who's at the top of all of this, who can't kind of grass in their superiors at any point. And then if that turns out to be a ring of how many like chief civil service agents are there? There's like 50 odd, isn't there? Like the seats for the civil
loads.
If it's up being just a cabal of all of the chief civil services being put down for treason, so yeah. But what we need, if we were to really go down that road, is we need to have undeniable proof quickly without being bogged down in the weeds, because every minute that Rupert wastes on doing that stuff, if he was able to win, will be things that the opposition can just beat him with over and over and over again. Every mistake they make with a person is just ammunition that they will use against him.
Yeah.
Right,
All these people
I'm gonna just give it
put down
a chance.
to Facebook memes and all things like that. We should add all their sentences together, and that's a minimum anybody gets. An absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to bring Alan Mystic in here because this is from Mystic Media. If you don't know what Mystic Media is,
Yeah, sorry, Vindicator. I'm going to leave now, mate, because I need to go back on my oxygen. I'm struggling a little bit. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, that's fine.
everybody.
I'm sorry about your condition, mate. I'm really sorry for you.
No problem.
And I'm glad you could come in, mate, and have a chat. Brilliant. Right, Alan. Can you hear me, mate? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'll move to his mic. There you go, mate. How you doing, buddy? I'm sorry to hear about you as well, mate. I'm really sorry.
I probably won't be on.
How you doing, buddy? I'm sorry to hear about you as well, mate. I'm really sorry. Can you just mute the stream, mate?
So am I then. Yeah, but there we go.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Hang on. There we go. Hang on. Let me see what. That's it. That should be all right now, then.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. That
should be all right now, then.
Yeah, I had my phone volume.
Yeah. Hang on, you're still echoing the stream, mate.
Yeah, I had my phone volume.
Hang on, you're still echoing the stream, mate.
Yeah, hang on.
Still left in the street, mate.
Yeah.
I'll just mute your mic while you're doing it, and give me a thumbs up when you've sorted it, mate. You're ready to go. Ready to go. All sorted, buddy. Yeah. You're ready to go. Ready to go.
No. All right, now.
I'm sorted, buddy.
I'm shit on this phone. I'm not. I ain't used to being on the phone.
I'll just mute your mic, mate, while you're doing it. Let him sort it out. What else have you guys got to think? What have you got any points you want to get across that you want to air?
Yeah, I was going to follow up on what Jason was saying again. I think what he was saying was really, really good about this accountability. Ministers have got to be directly responsible for setting the policies and therefore being accountable for when they go wrong so that we can get rid of them. Well, what I think we need to remember as well is that Parliament has ultimate authority in this country, not the United Nations or the World Economic Forum or any of these supranational organisations that our government has sold its soul to. We can get out of any of those obligations and we can focus on Britain. And that's what we should be doing. And we should be looking at making ourselves as energy sufficient as possible so that we're then not in the back pocket of countries such as Russia, China, or the US. It's not as if we can't do it. We've got the oil to do it. We just need the political will to do that. We need to start building so that people have got somewhere to live and stop immigration. I think if we did those three things, that alone would make an enormous difference.
I'll tell you something else.
Especially with food security.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else I think should happen as well. We should make manifestos legally binding. They should be legally binding. So if you're going to put these things in your manifesto, you better implement them, or there's going to be consequences for it. Because how many times? I mean, look at Labour. How many times have we had these manifesto promises? Look at Boris Johnson, where he said all the things he was going to do, and then just did the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do. Yeah, we need to have legally binding manifestos.
It's been like that for 50 years. If you look at all of the manifestos for at least the last 50 years, each one has been on a promise. Everyone who won has been on a promise of lowering immigration.
Yeah.
Every single we've spoken about them today, but one of the things I actually really liked about Ben Habib and the Advance was putting the legislation as a draft on the manifesto. So that way it's out there and it's there to read on a simple basis that I think that if you can see that someone has actually put hard work into creating it, it actually makes it a lot more likely that they're going to do it when they get voted in. Whereas if it's just, you know, like
he did to start on day one with a functioning and effective government with a vision, which is exactly what is needed.
You see, what I like about Rupert Low is what he's actually going to be implementing is direct democracy regarding choosing policy. So they'll develop policy, they'll put them up, and then everybody will have direct democracy. Right, which policy do you want? And it's democracy. Yeah. Which ones get implemented is the one that you vote for. Simple as that. And I think that's a good idea. Yeah. I think that's a very good idea.
Regional power as well. Because, like I mentioned before, the needs of where I live in a very rural community will be very different from the needs of Chesterfield. So why should there be one government that, you know, sorts out both of them? Wouldn't it be more effective to focus on the local government a bit more, give them a bit more power over migration numbers?
I don't think you need the local, almost like local devolution. What I think this could very easily be solved is just by making your local councils accountable to the Member of Parliament. Because at the moment, the Member of Parliament doesn't actually have a lot of authority or power to do anything with the local councils.
Yeah, that's true.
People don't really vote in their local council elections, but if you ask people, what's really annoying them is potholes, is school places, is doctor places. And an MP, an individual MP, doesn't have a lot of autonomy to fix a lot of these problems, but your local council does. Yeah. So if you made it so that your local council was accountable to the MP, well, then that is a singular individual person that your constituency can then hold accountable for the council's failings. Because at the moment, if you try and speak to any county council at all, it's just pure bureaucracy.
Right,
Pure
I'm going
bureaucracy.
to give Alan some. I agree with your point. I'm going to give Alan some time to speak. I'm going to cover this comment first, though. I'm going to ask you what you guys think of this. Then perhaps make top 3 to 5 manifesto promises legally binding. Too many things in manifestos are out with government control until the system is rebuilt. I agree with that. I think that's a good thing they should do. Right, Alan, do you want to come and have your say, mate? Have you got what are your opinions on the current situation?
Are we working there with the volume thing?
Your volume's great, mate. Yeah, your volume's perfect, mate. Yeah.
Right, got it sorted then. God, I don't know. You covered so much stuff now. As far as holding any government government to account, that's just never going to happen ever. I've seen far worse government than this, and they've never been held accountable for anything. Not even back in '79 when Labour decided to bankrupt the country and take us into the IMF.
Don't you think though that we've reached a breaking point now where all that past has come to a head at this point,
No.
and people have finally decided, right, it's time to change things now?
No.
You don't think that way?
No.
So what do you think the way forward is?
Be honest with you, I don't think there is one.
You don't think there's a political solution? Because there are people out there that don't think
I don't think there's any political solution to it. It's just gone.
Are you on the side of Dr. David Betts then when he says that we're most likely going to have a civil war within the next 5 years?
I think it'll be sooner than that.
Can I just interject there? Because David Betts' language is often misinterpreted. Because when he says civil war, he means civil war in the academic sense. He doesn't mean two sides fighting against each other, in an internal war in a country. What he means by a civil war is an ideological war that results in riots.
Oh no, I've got to stop you there. He actually came out and said, yes, we're already in an ideological civil war right now. He said, but he's already started to see, with the start of sectarian voting, he said eventually that is going to lead to different factions fighting against each other on the streets. Like you said, it's not going to be like the civil war that we had, where we had the Roundheads and the Cavaliers. It's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be it's going to be more like what we saw in Bosnia.
What the two sides are. It's going to be a religious war. We all know that, and I think what it's going to end up as is to get control of things. I think it's going to be you're going to have areas like Leicester, Birmingham, London. They will just get more and more people from that religion who will be joining together, and they'll start wanting that territory to be theirs. They'll start demanding rights to have it as theirs, and before you know it, you're going to end up with 3 or 4 separate autonomous Islamic enclaves within Britain, and then that is going to lead towards an armed civil war, I think.
And the thing is, what you will have people that are of Pakistani origin, you will have people of Indian origin, they have traditional hate each other, and if you get two factions like that, it might not even be the English or the British that kick this off. It could be just infighting from other cultures that we've imported into the country. I mean, we saw it in Manchester. Just let me speak. We saw this in Manchester a few days ago when they started fighting over Israel. I mean, there was a vigil in Manchester in support of the Ayatollah. They had a vigil for him. That's how radical these people are.
Did you see what happened there last night with the horses?
Yeah.
I could not believe that there were Islamic vigilantes on horseback chasing people down the street, and the police did nothing about it.
They can't. They're scared. Right. What we have is a police force that is designed for a high trust society, not a low trust society. So they're just not trained to deal with what we're about to face. What I did out in Iraq is what you need. You need people that have been in these countries and know the situation and know how to deal with these people. These people only understand strength. They understand strength. They see appeasement as weakness. So what Keir Starmer is doing, they'll see him as a weak man. Think this country is ripe for conquering because they're weak, and that's how they see
I'm glad
it.
you used that word appeasement there, because I think that history is going to look back at this time period and see this as an age of appeasement. And we all know what happened last time with appeasement, and I think we all know what's going to happen this time unless we put a foot down and actually show some balls and say, no, I'm not having this. You have to obey our system here. That comes first. If you don't,
there's not enough people to do that, Jake. Sorry, but there's just not enough. There's just isn't enough people with balls to do anything. So.
I agree with you there. That's the sad thing, isn't it?
And what's going to happen is a cultural war between, as you correctly pointed out, Jake, it'll be a culture war between different factions of Kurds, Pakistanis, Indians, the whole cross section, and they will start to take ethnic sides.
Yeah,
This is why I've said hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Our strength is communities. People need to start building communities now, and they are what are going to save us. Communities will save us in the future.
Yeah, and that's where it's very in favour of that, because when I walk around, I know who everybody is. I might not know them well, but I recognise their faces. You say hello to somebody, you help people out. It is a very different society from a city. And I think that the cities we really have lost, and I think that we need to try and get them back. Sorry, Jason, I spoke over you then. I didn't mean to.
If I may, I think the only real way to kind of safeguard against what is a bad timeline is for Rupert to get in and turn the benefits off. If you turn the benefits off, they self-deport, or they will set up illegal black market economies to sustain themselves, and then you use that as justification to deport. Our system, our legal political system, is designed in a way that nothing is ever permanent. We don't have something like the First and Second Amendment in the States. So even if Rupert won 500 seats, and then, he got David Starkey on board, did a great repeal act, wiped everything off for the last 50 years, most governments, at least in my lifetime and before, are 10 to 12 years long. And then the other side gets voted in. Well, the other side will just copy and paste legislation back in. So, yes, I do have a lot of faith in Rupert, but I think something needs to fundamentally change about our system so that, if Rupert wins and if the British, like the native British peoples, put their foot down and say, this is the way it stands, we need to make sure that in 20 years' time, someone just doesn't swing the pendulum like way back in the other direction. Because,
I'll be honest with you, right? I think what needs to happen is, and this is what I'm waiting for with Rupert Low, and I want him to say that, the English Constitution, I want to see that he's going to codify and ratify it, because that needs to happen. We need some sort of protection from this ever happening again with Starmer and the regime. We definitely need that.
I agree with you on that point, and I think that that's where we've got to proscribe this as an ideology, this globalist, internationalist mentality, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, informally, people will call it, woke or whatever, but it has to be clearly identified as being a harmful ideology and put into practice. And we really do need to dismantle that system. But one thing where I think there is a lot of conversation that needs to be had is where it comes to the subject of who should stay and who should go, because many of us would like to think, yes, let's just send them all back. That will make life much easier. That will solve everything. Yes, maybe it would. But what problems is it going to cause if you start doing that en masse? So how is that going to actually happen is something that should be considered very carefully. For example, I didn't know this till I checked it the other day, actually, but you can have your citizenship revoked if you pose a potential harm to the country's safety. So there's a way that you could get rid of quite a few people's passports simply by applying that to them.
I think what needs to happen is, because there needs to be a conjunction, there's to be two things happening at the same time with deportations. You need deportation to be happening, but you also need to have a massive drive in training the population to do the jobs that need to be replaced. That needs to happen at the same time as you're deporting. That's the way you solve that problem. I mean, we've already got the nurses. The nurses can't get the jobs because we're importing foreign nurses to do jobs we have perfectly got people here in this country trained to do already. We don't need them.
We trace this directly to the
Unqualified nurses.
Go on, mate, say that again. It didn't come through very well.
Foreign unqualified nurses. There is a big problem with malpractice coming out of these imported nurses and doctors. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I saw one story about an anesthesiologist who left the surgery that he was in to have specific relations with a nurse in the next surgery room.
Did you see that story? Did you see that story that was in the news about how was it the Pakistani or the Indian government did a massive raid, and there was people producing university documents en masse, fake university documents to give to these people, and it's like, how many of these people do we have in this country who are actually qualified to do what they say they're doing? We don't know, do we?
No, absolutely, absolutely, and yet you have things like I saw at my university yesterday. Them offering jobs to help people of colour to get more degrees. What? Why? Why do they need to? I don't understand that at all. One other thing that I think that we could do in terms of legislation, sorry to sort of jump forward with a topic here, but we've got a problem with a certain demographic and their beliefs. That's something that we can legislate against, and we should be doing that. We should be doing things that make it less comfortable and make them less confident in their identity. Now, there are a number of things that we do with that, starting with getting rid of halal meat. That's not going to get rid of everybody, of course, but that is going to make things a bit more uncomfortable. Keep doing that, and I think that you might be able to get to, to make re-migration a possibility.
Yeah, Rupert has mentioned this. He's going to create an environment that is hostile to anybody that doesn't want to integrate in this country. And that would do that. They'd self-deport. They'd get rid of halal meat, ban the burqa, get rid of, and this might be controversial, you get rid of the Jewish courts, you get rid of the Sharia courts, you get rid of all the practices. It's kosher meat slaughter is just as barbaric as halal meat slaughter. Get it out of the country. We don't want it. I
agree. This is Britain. You do things our way, you follow our laws, or fuck off. Simple.
We don't have to do the hard work. You see the US deporting a lot of people over the last year or so, and they're loading them up into planes. If we just make it so that you are living in England or Scotland or wherever, and if you would like halal meat, if you would like to wear a burqa, then there are countries over there that you're welcome to go live in. Most of these people would probably self-deport. There would be backlash, and I think behind closed doors, Rupert and co, whoever that is, needs to really consider how they're going to deal with that backlash first.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't.
And it won't just be the illegals kicking off. It will be the university students. It will be the white liberal women, the protesters, all of the people who don't realise that in some cases there are barbarians.
The thing is, though, I don't know who mentioned it before, but removing their citizenship, if they're a threat to the country to start doing this, if they're subservious, out you go. You go with the rest of them. We don't want you. Gone.
Which is why I mentioned that is something that can actually be done, although it's only done rarely at the moment.
Can I just address this comment here just briefly, right? YTS was useless. Well, the thing is, this is my issue with schools and colleges and stuff, right? Schools particularly, they gear people up just to go to university. They don't think that not everybody is going to be fitting into that box. There are people out there that have practical skills, that are good with their hands. They want to be engineers. They want to be electricians. They want to be plumbers. We need to be pushing these people forward instead of just solely pushing people to be university students. This is where we've gone wrong. This is where we've gone wrong.
Big point, and I would absolutely echo everything you said, because I was a teacher for 15 years, so I know exactly what the system is like. And I have said for years and years that the whole problem with education goes back to the late 60s, when Labour's Tony Crosland said, and I quote, that it was his mission to destroy every single fucking grammar school in the country, and he did it. And in doing that, what he got rid of was the academic professional class that was beforehand probably about 20% of the country. And then you also had the route that you were just describing with the trades, which are absolutely vital for this country. But we now have generations of people that don't have trades, which is why everything looks shit. Like, just look at the buildings. They're not being done because we don't have to do it. And I think well, getting rid of grammar schools got rid of social mobility for the working class students as well. And I really do believe that the school system needs an absolute overhaul, because the comprehensive system, all it does is produce mediocrity.
I mean, he's talking about the YTS being useless here. What they should bring back is the old apprenticeship thing, where you have somebody that's going to retire, you put a young 16-year-old with that retiree, he learns their trade, they teach him the skills, and then that person replaces them in the workforce. That's how it should be done.
Yeah, and national service should be brought in for 16 to 18-year-olds as well, where they actually have a specific curriculum where they learn why it's important to conserve your culture, where they can go out on patrol in the local area and, you know, try and see what problems there are with people, so they actually feel part of a community.
Yeah, obviously community is the main thing. I mean, all these Marxists have done for the last few decades is attack the nuclear family, attack the community, and this is where we're strongest. This is where we are at our absolute strongest, is with our communities. We all know it. I mean, you've got it yourself. Well, I mean, where I live, everybody knows everybody. Everybody, if anything goes wrong, we all pull together. And it's like, right, we're all on it. We're all a team. We pull together, we help each other out. That's what we've lost. We need to get it back.
And if someone is not involved or doesn't fit in with that mold, it's also very clear who those people are as well.
Yeah. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and wrap things up. So I'm going to let you each have a point and wrap up what your points are in this live stream, and then I'm just going to call it a day, guys. All right.
All right, I'll go first. Was the first one on? I would say that I think that if people really want to have a change and they want to see a right-leaning government come in, then what they need to do is stop acting like children. They need to think about the big picture ahead, stop insulting each other, look for commonality, come up with an actual set of ideas and plans, and instead of just sitting there on the internet, actually go out and have conversations, do something about it instead. I've joined up where I'm doing that. Other people can do that as well. It's, you know, it's voluntary work. You don't get anything, but you can actually feel as if you're doing something that helps the country, because all of us know that this is an emergency and we have to act now. And thank you for your time, Vindicator.
No problem. This is what this channel is for, is to give people like you voices, so you can get your opinions out there, because not everybody has a YouTube channel. Not everybody. Do you have YouTube channels, by the way? If you do, I'll promote them for you. No, it's a shame, because you need to be out there. You need to be saying these opinions to people. Get out there and doing this sort of thing. But this is why I do it. It's to give you people voices and let your opinions come out. It's not just about me. It's just about me talking all the time. I want to hear from you guys, and I really appreciate everybody coming in and having. Right, Jason, I'll let you go forward, mate.
So my point is just going to be a little bit of a curveball here. A lot of the drama and the arguments and everything that's being caused is being caused because there's a lot of people that can get caught up in a 24-hour news cycle and need to have a day off. Yeah. You know, we know who we're talking about. These are people who stream every single evening and just kind of sit in their own little echo chamber. They need to just have a couple of days off and just think about what they're saying before they say it, before they post a tweet.
You know,
and for the people who aren't like me, they just need to go and knock on their neighbours.
You know what would be beneficial, right? You know what, if people like Richard Inman, Paul Thorpe allowed you guys into their live streams and talk to them like this, I don't think they would. This would ever have happened. But like you said, they need their echo chambers. They need people. They won't allow people like you to speak and tell them where their arguments are wrong, because they can't accept it. They won't accept it.
I used to quite like watching Jeff Taylor until he crashed out the other day. And I was watching a live stream where him and his mate, I think he's called Richard as well, isn't he? They were kind of getting torn by the chat a little bit. And the argument that they were using was I want a definition for this. I want a definition for who needs to go. What is citizenship? And I put in a super chat to Jeff and I said, fair play. I think you're poking holes. can you please provide a definition? Like, what are your definitions? And his immediate answer was, I would need to go and have a very long, hard think about that. And it's like, so these people are just too online. They're putting across points when they haven't had a serious think about what they want and what definitions they want to adhere to. And it's why they come across as so logically inconsistent. But that was the point, just to kind of into the main point of the stream.
The other thing is as well, right? Do you really think these people want this situation to end? Because if this situation ends, their livelihood disappears. It's gone. They're no longer relevant. No, people no longer need to hear from these people anymore. So sometimes it's within their best interest to sow division to keep this thing propagated and keep it going. That's just my opinion on that. Yeah.
You're right. All you need to do is just simply identify a victim that can be on a rolling basis as to who it is, and then you just need to play the victim towards that particular villain, and there you go. You've got your money constantly coming in, and people do take advantage of that, and people do take advantage of the vulnerability that a lot of online communities actually have. And I think that what Jason said is really, really important. And it's good to speak to you, and Alan and Vindicator as well. Sorry for butting in again. Got too excited.
You're all right, mate. You're quite welcome to come back in anytime you wanted. Myself and Tom are actually launching a new podcast together next week. So if you guys want to come back in and chat to us anytime, you're quite welcome to do so in that as well. Right, I'm going to bring Alan in and let him have his final word, and we'll hear from Alan, okay?
Cheers, mate. Not here, mate. Too many egos and too many people want a piece of the pie. I think a lot of people need to just sit back and take serious stock of where we are. I'd also suggest, if you can, if there's one near you, go to a protest, go and have a look. That's the only way you're going to see what's on the ground. I know some of you probably already do go to protests.
Alan is I will say Alan's from Mystic Media. He's a guy that goes around and films all the protests with his. Is it your son? Is it your son that you go with? It is, isn't it? Your son that you go with. Yeah.
My son Chris. We both go. I'm fucked now, so I ain't going far. But hopefully Chris will still get out.
These guys have been boots on the ground at every single protest. That they're amazing. They really are.
Yeah, we've done a lot starting from sort of right back from last year. We was actually one of the first reporters. I prefer to be known as a reporter because we're not what do they call them, auditors or anything like that. So we decided we're reporters and report on the scene, but that's another story. But we keep out of it, and we watch from afar. We see what's going on, film it, keep out of the all the all of that stuff, and film. Now, I have seen Sarah White mentioned a time or two. I do know Sarah quite well personally. Not that I'll say a lot about Sarah. That's about it, really. But she didn't try to go out and put herself on the stage. We actually put her on the world stage. Me and Chris and AY, we teamworked, and we got the footage of Sarah on the council building with the flag, and we sent the footage worldwide. We had it restreamed by Elon and Tommy and one or two others retweeted it. So that's how that got on stage or on the world stage. But anyway, that's how that got about, and following on from there, there has been further incidents at Epping that we've captured. And
You know what I think it is with Sarah? I think the trouble is because she was an activist, but now she's trying to make the transition to being a politician, and it's not quite working out for her.
100%. And I have mentioned certain aspects of that with Sarah, regarding demographics. I warned her up of sort of talking about different demographics, and I think she's kind of kept off them a little bit, but I don't watch her much. But yeah, she sort of got tugged along with it all, and again, if Sarah says this, she knows how I feel about her. She's a good friend, but sort of got dragged into that and enjoyed the direction it took her, and whatever. She's done a little bit too much bad, if you know what I mean. She's sort of I've had all this three or four times. Had it with Reform, then with Advance, then with with Rupert, and it all keeps fucking going round and round and round and round in circles. You know, more people need to go out, go on the ground, even if you only go once. Just go once, have a share, whatever, see what it looks like on the ground, and you know, take it from there. There's a lot of people commentate from afar, and they haven't even sort of seen boots on the ground, so, like yourself, Ben. You know, you've been there, you've smelt it. You know, you've seen the whole deal of it.
We sure have. I saw when that police officer came up to you, just pushed you off the pavement for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Which one was that?
that was the Sheffield one. Remember the Sheffield one where he just like laid straight into you?
Oh, the Sheffield one, yeah. I've got a good collection.
Right, I'm address this person. Right. You know what? We've got a detractor. So you know what, Annie? Do you want to come into the live stream and just put your point across? I don't particularly want it to be one-sided. If you want to come in and put your side across, if you disagree, you're quite welcome to come into and have a debate. No problem.
Can I put a point across, actually?
I have an answer for Annie. I can't say for certain. So the comment you put up previously was the question is Rupert counting the move numbers to the membership numbers? Now, I can't say for certain, but I've seen people ask Grok AI, and then Grok has explicitly said that according to the Restore Britain website, the membership counter is active from when they went live as a party and not including it. So I can't say for 100% certain, but the information is supposedly out there if you want to have a look at the website.
Yeah. I was just going to mention as well, I think it's really important that division is kept to a minimum and that people try and disagree respectfully. It's perfectly fine to disagree with somebody. It's very easy to get emotional when you disagree with somebody, and all of us have lost our rag with people at some point and thrown insults at people, but it doesn't help anything. And when I saw earlier in the week what was happening, somebody I know is very much involved in that, and I saw how upset they were. And there is no need for it, really. Attack the ideas, not the person. And I think that's got to be the way forward, really. If you want things to go well, if you just want division, then carry on calling people this, that, and the other. But it won't solve anything.
What I'm going to do is, because I don't want to feel intimidated, I'm going to ask you guys to leave. I'm going to try and get Annie in to have a debate with me about this. Yeah, because I think it's important that I have people in the live stream that don't necessarily agree with me, so that both sides of the argument can be displayed, because that's how bad ideas get pushed aside and people learn things. Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
Good to talk with you, gents. Catch you later.
You too. Thanks everybody for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Right, Annie. Just me and you. If you want to come in, have a chat, quite welcome to do so. I'll drop the link in the chat. We'll have a debate. Yeah. Do you want your face to be seen? Need to see your face, or I won't allow you in the live stream. Show me your face, buddy, so I can see who you are. Yeah. Thank you, mate. Alan missed it. No, Alan, I'm waiting for Annie to come in, mate. It's not Annie. It's Alan trying to get back in again. Sorry, mate. No, I'm waiting to debate Annie. I don't want anybody in the live stream because I don't want to feel intimidated, buddy. Sorry about that. No. That's fair enough. That's your right. But don't say I don't offer people to come and debate me and offering a different opinion, because that's not what I'm about. You can see it, but you don't need to see me. Yeah, you can just come in. Just come into the live stream, show your face. You won't be live. I won't put you in the live stream until you've covered your face back up, and then I'll put you in the live, and then we can chat. Yeah. She's not even entered the live stream. I've dropped the link, but she says I've dropped the link again. I can't let people in if they're not in the backstage. The link's there. Want to come in, they can come in. No problem, mate. You're welcome. You really are welcome. Where's the link? The link's here. I'll just paste it. It's the next comment that's going to come on. You'll see it. It'll be my comment, and that's the link you click. As I said before, you won't come straight into the live stream. You'll go backstage first before I add you to the live stream. So you're not going to click straight into a live stream. Okay. No problem, buddy. I'm not seeing it, mate. It's not coming up. It's in the live stream. I've just posted it again. All you got to do is click on that link. It's at the bottom now. If you click on that link under where I am, you've got to come into the live stream. I'll post it again. Post it again. It's been posted again. Post it again. Exactly. It's your opportunity to be heard. I'll be quiet. I'll let you put your point forward. And then once you have your say, I'll talk. Yeah. I'll drop the link again. The link's been dropped again now. Is she still in the chat? I don't think she's even in the chat anymore. I think she's gone. I've not seen her post in a while. I think she's gone. Yeah, I think she's gone. But let it be known, the offer was there. You know, she made her accusations. Come on in, have a chat. That's what I'm always about. Not about like what other people do. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Found the link. If you don't want to see your face, you can turn your camera off and just come in a live stream without having to show your face if that's what you want to do. Give me a thumbs up if you're okay with your face being shown, and I'll bring you into the live stream. Hello, Annie. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just want to say, for the first off, I applaud your courage. It takes a lot of courage to come into a live stream, and I hope
I'm getting an echo.
There's no echo. I'm not getting an echo. You have to turn off the live stream that you're in, so you have to mute yourself.
All right, 1 second. What, like, turn off the... All right, I don't know because I've not done this before.
No, that you're very brave. And right, what I'm going to let you do now is I'm going to let you have your say. Okay, you tell me what you think. Hello.
Right. Personally, I'm really upset with Rupert because Advance was set up with Rupert. Ben and Rupert are friends.
Yeah.
I can hear myself repeating myself. I can hear myself, my own voice. How do I get rid of it? It's really annoying me.
You have to mute your own audio. You know the device
Mute
you're on.
myself.
Yeah, you have to. Are you actually? Have you watching this on another device as well? Because you'd have to mute that. That's why you're getting feedback. Because it's not on mine. I'm not hearing an echo, so it must be on your side. Yeah, if you've got an earpiece, if you've got earphones, you can put it. If you plug earphones in, it should take that way.
No. Every time I speak, I hear myself again.
Yeah, what actually?
No, I haven't got any earphones at the minute. I've broken them. I keep breaking things.
Are you on a phone? Is that what you're on? You need to mute you need to mute if you're
No, I'm on my tablet.
You're on your tablet. Right, okay. You just have to mute the live stream then.
Hello?
You have to mute the live stream on your device. You have to press turn off YouTube, turn it off.
I'll try. I don't know.
Is that fixed it?
Turn off YouTube. Where the blood? If YouTube, if I knew what it was. Oh, there it is. Right. Wait 1 second. Oh, no. Oh, fuck dog.
All sorted? Yeah, all you've got to do is mute YouTube. You know, in your little icon, just go on the sound and mute it. That's all you've got to do. Hello? I think you've muted yourself. You've muted yourself now. there's no audio coming through your microphone. You've muted yourself. Let's all be patient. Let's give us some time. You know, technology. I had an issue when I muted myself earlier, so I can't speak. Hi, Annie. You've muted yourself. So you might be talking, but nobody can hear you because you've muted your own microphone. Right, Annie, I'll let you come back in when you've sorted it all out, okay? Where's the link gone? Here you go. I'm posting the link again. Come back on in, yeah? There you go. Links. I've just posted the link again. I'll post it again in case you can't see it. There you go. I've posted the link again. Hi, Annie. Are you coming back in? I think she's muted YouTube. She can't hear me anymore. I think that's what's happened. She's muted herself, so she can't hear anything now. Right. If she doesn't come back in 5 minutes, I'm going to end the stream. I'll drop the link again. Is she actually still in the chat? Because I've not seen her in a while posting. I'll keep posting the link. I'll just keep posting it and hope she clicks on it. I can't keep going on with this dead air. If you don't come in, I'm just going to have to end the live stream in a bit. And she's here. Right, okay, right. I was in the room, but you couldn't hear me. No, because you muted yourself. And what you've got to do is you've got to mute YouTube and not your own audio. Mute your audio that's on YouTube, but not your own microphone. I'll stay around if you want to come in. I'm going to keep the live stream going. I'll keep posting the link. Link's been posted again. I posted the link again. Are you actually coming in? Are you coming back in, Annie, or are you just giving up? Yeah, no, that's because she's muted her own mic. I'm sorry, it's just not working. I'm in the room. You're not in the room. You're not backstage. There's nobody in the backstage area, so you've not clicked on the link yet. But you can't hear me. That's because you've muted your own audio. Right. I'm just gonna call it here. All right. Maybe next time, Annie. I'll give you an opportunity next time. If you come to my next live stream, have some earphones or something, and I will have you in. I promise you, you will be the first one that comes in. Okay. Right, guys. I can't keep the dead air going on for this long. It's not fair on you guys. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live stream here. I wish she could have come in, but unfortunately, she's got technical difficulties. I can't wait around forever, unfortunately. You know, I'm as fair. I think I've been very patient, been very fair. Hopefully next time Annie can come in when she's got some headphones and she doesn't have to mute herself. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm in the live stream now anyway, so missed opportunity. Right, guys, this is Vindicator. Sign off. Thank you for everybody coming in. I shall see you all soon in the next video, the morning walk video. See you all soon. Don't forget Monday. Don't forget Monday. 12 noon Monday. I'll be talking to Paul Burgess, ex-college member of Advance UK. Watch out for that one. It's going to be a good one. See you all soon, guys. This is Vindicator, signing off.